is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
When Jessica and I first moved here to Hollywood, one of the very first things we did was get in the car and drive around town. And immediately, we found this place, the Icons of Darkness, the exhibition, the greatest sci-fi, fantasy, and horror film artifact collection on Earth. I mean, come on. That marquee is killer. But here's the thing, this exhibit was supposed to open, but because of COVID, it didn't. It's still supposed to open sometime this year if everything kind of goes according to plan and things start opening back up. In fact, we reached out to the people who are putting on this exhibit, the owners of the artifacts that they're showing here, and asked if we could be on the media team, and guess what? They said yes. So when they open, we will be in there with their cameras bringing you spooky goodness. But until this place officially opens, here on Vine Street in the heart of Hollywood, are monsters. And I feel right at home. Everything about this place is just perfect, and we cannot wait for this to open up. Monsters, heroes, and villains. As of right now, there is no set date for when they're gonna open. But when they do, it does say an exclusive limited engagement. Just like on the other side of the theater, here is another creepy monster, this four-eyed clowns. I mean, I get it. People are scared of clowns. They just don't really do it for me. They don't scare me. I do love monsters though, especially the classic monsters, which is what we are going to be filming today. But before we get into the whole purpose of this video, just a quick walk in front of the theater, because how cool would it be if there was a Hollywood Walk of Fame star here of a horror legend? But I don't see any. Well, I stand corrected, because if we stand on the other side of the theater and look at the stars this way, right here on the sidewalk of Vine Street, let me move out of the way because of my shadow, is Bud Abbott of the famous Abbott and Costello. And guess what? He did a movie called Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, and in that movie is an icon of horror that we're going to be talking about today, Bela Lugosi.
Count Dracula sleeps in this coffin, but rises every night at sunset. Chick is right. This is awful silly stuff. Dracula...
Now.
You know that person you said that there's no such person?
Yes.
I think he's in there, in person. I was reading this sign over here, this one down here.
Yeah.
Dracula's legend. All of a sudden I heard...
That's the wind.
It should get oiled.
Listen, stop reading this thing. That's a lot of phony baloney to fool McDougal's customers. Now fold up that canvas and get busy. Come on.
Dracula can change himself at will into a vampire bat, flying about the countryside. Flying.
Listen, you're making enough noise to wake up the dead.
I don't have to wake him up. He's up. I saw a hand.
You saw a hand?
Uh-huh.
Where?
Right over there.
Let me see it.
Right over here.
Where is it?
I saw a hand there.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're all excited reading this legend. Now listen. Listen, Wilbur. I know there's no such a person as Dracula. You know there's no such a person as Dracula.
But does Dracula know it?
Now listen to me. McDougal will be here any minute with the insurance agent. Now get to work.
He keeps himself alive by drinking the blood
This is getting to be ridiculous.
Lately, it feels that I'm on some sort of Bela Lugosi kick. Not too long ago, Jessica and I visited the cemetery, well, where he's buried in Culver City. Just the other day, released a video of a very hard to find, not well-known filming location from 1931's Dracula. Today, after leaving here, we're going to visit Bela Lugosi's star on Hollywood Boulevard, and then we're going to go to where Bela Lugosi died. And you may have noticed, for the occasion, I am wearing my Halloween Horror Nights That Didn't Happen in Orlando, Florida Classic Monsters t-shirt. And there's Dracula right there. About a block away from Hollywood and Vine, now on the corner of Hollywood and Ivar, right across the street from the Scientology building, is where you will find Bela Lugosi's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's right on the corner. You can't miss it. Well, I mean, I guess if you're not looking down, you'll miss it. I had to stop for a second because how odd or coincidental is it that right up there on the corner, right over there, is where Bela Lugosi's star is. And that lamppost right there, that street post, looks like a giant cross marking him. I mean, he's a vampire. He's Dracula.
More Wolfbane. More effective than Wolfbane, Count. Indeed.
See, I told you. Right across the street is one of the many giant buildings for the Church of Scientology. I'm not really interested in it, but down here on the first floor, right on Hollywood Boulevard, is an exhibit for L. Ron Hubbard. But what we came here for is this star right here. The Hollywood Walk of Fame star for Bela Lugosi, Dracula himself. How cool is that? Our next stop on our Bela Lugosi sites is the house, or should I say apartment building at 5620 Harold Way. This is Bela Lugosi's last residence. He died, sadly, in this building. Look at that car though. That's beautiful. And here it is, 5620 Harold Way. The apartment in which icon of horror, Dracula himself, Bela Lugosi, died. I've seen pictures of this place online. It's just crazy to be standing right here, imagining Lugosi walking right down this driveway to his home. You may be asking yourself, wait a minute, this does not seem like the proper house for a Hollywood star, Dracula, classic monster who's been in all kinds of movies. This doesn't really seem like the place that he'd be living. Well, you'd be correct. Throughout his career, he lived in some pretty elaborate mansions and houses. Some of them looked very spooky, a lot of money, but in the end, this is where he died. If by chance you saw the movie Ed Wood starring Johnny Depp and directed by Tim Burton, Martin Landau played Bela Lugosi beautifully in that movie. I mean, absolutely beautiful. Looking back at it, I feel like, was it really Bela Lugosi who played it, or was it Martin Landau? But in the movie they touched on Bela's life, about his drug addiction and everything that he went through. At one point, he was one of the richest horror actors in Hollywood, but because of drugs, he lost it all. Bela only lived in this apartment for a very short time with his fifth wife, a woman by the name of Hope. Now, Hope is credited with getting Bela to finally get some help for his drug addiction. After he got released, they moved in here, and one night when she came home late, she called out to him. He didn't answer. She went, felt his pulse, didn't feel anything. Bela Lugosi died alone in a back bedroom. here in this apartment building on Herald Way. Lugosi died at the age of 73 of a heart attack on August 16, 1956. It's rumored that laying in bed at his time of death, that he was clutching a script for a movie called The Final Curtain, which would have been his next movie with his friend Ed Wood. Towards the end of his life, Lugosi was having a really hard time finding work, but he found work as well as friendship in a guy by the name of Ed Wood, who made a movie that we all know called Plan 9 from Outer Space, as well as Glenn or Glenda. Again, the Tim Burton movie, Ed Wood, is based off of him and their relationship and that whole filmmaking entourage. It was a crazy time here in Hollywood. When news of Lugosi's death broke, immediately a photographer came over here to this location and took different photos and was even able to capture the paramedics taking Lugosi's body out of the apartment. In one of the shots, you can see a giant painting in Lugosi's apartment. He had that with him in every house that he lived. The entrance to the apartment would have been right over here, and out of respect for people's privacy, I did ask if I can walk at least to here to get a photo, and the residents said no further than this, please. So this is it. Just imagine Bela walking up these steps to his home. It's crazy to think about. It's such a weird feeling. I'm very excited and at the same time very sad for visiting this place. Huge fan of Bela Lugosi and all the different movies that he's done and everything that he stands for in horror. But at the same time, knowing where he was and how far he fell. A lot of people credit his drug addiction and the things that he went through and his bad luck because he couldn't speak English very well. Around the time, Lugosi and Karloff were the two biggest names in horror, and Karloff's, career soared, where Bela Lugosi's kind of just crumbled and turned into this history and story of drugs and sadness and dying alone in this really tiny apartment compared to what he's, known for, what he's lived, what he obtained, and then ultimately lost. Like I said, very excited, very sad. I really do feel like I'm on a Bela Lugosi kick lately, and trust me when I tell you this, we got a lot more videos coming.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.